Hello, everyone, and welcome to Exploring Awesome. I am your host, Jim Kellner. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, so that means I help people to quit smoking, lose weight, get rid of fears and phobias, pain, stress, and make lots of other changes in their life. I'm also a stage hypnotist, so I help people to have fun on stage by having them do silly things. I know you may think of me as the guy that makes people bark like a dog and cluck like a chicken. However, I will say that I've literally never had anyone do either of those. Lots of other fun stuff, though. I'm also a really swell fella, some might say. Just ask my mom. She'll also tell you I'm a genius and the funniest person she's ever met. I don't even pay her to say that. She just does. All right. So thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I love all the feedback, the comments. That's been fantastic. And I do want to just, again, thank you for listening. You've really made this a very popular show. And I know there's been a little bit of irregularity, and I'm hoping to take care of that. And I'm hoping to get the content even better and the quality of the recordings even better. But anyway, I think we're putting out a good product, I think. All right. Today's episode is titled Watch Your Language. Now, most of us, we try to watch the words that we say to our friends, our loved ones. We really, especially, hopefully, try to watch the language that we use with our children. We even watch the language that we use with strangers, hopefully. Many of us, though, we give very little thought to the words that we say to ourselves. So think about that, if you will, for just a moment. Think about, I'm going to really focus today on the disempowering words and phrases that we use. And I'm also going to touch on some of the other things that are maybe holding us back. And I also want you to think about the disempowering words that you may be using with yourself. I'll explain more of that in a minute. And think about those words that you say to yourself when you, for instance, maybe you look in the mirror. Do you have good self-esteem? What about when you make a mistake? Are you that person like a lot of us that goes, "Oh, that was so stupid. Oh, you're dumb." Right? How about when you maybe you don't eat just the right thing, or you don't exercise like you intended to, or maybe you smoke when you shouldn't have, or had a drink when you didn't want to? Think about the words that you say to yourself. Now, for a lot of us, we wouldn't even talk to our closest friend, our closest family member, the way that we talk to ourselves. So I'm also going to talk about that and really the power of being nice to ourselves and the words that we use, because they really do matter. Words do have power. All right, I'll tell you, I was thinking about this because I've been working with a client for several months to help her quit smoking. And so far, to no avail. And I'll tell you, this is kind of an anomaly because I very seldom have to work with a client more than a week or two with smoking. Now, some issues, things like weight loss, something like that, may take a longer term because there's a whole lot of choices involved, and it usually has been around longer, and there's a lot of other issues involved, and so sometimes that'll take a series of months to get all of that worked out. But with smoking, that's one of the quick ones. I mean, just like with like fears and phobias, you 1 to 3 sessions usually. Smoking, most people quit their first session with me. There's a few that continue to the second one, and then the remaining almost always quit on the third session. So this is really troubling me. And I'll tell you, I kind of knew I had some reservations about working with this client to begin with. And I'll tell you why. It was because of the language that she used. And I found that I figured because of the language that she used, it was going to be a challenge. It was going to be a challenge to help her make this change. And now, really, I probably should have just declined to work with her. And honestly, I would have if I hadn't been compelled to help her by a friend. And Also because she has numerous health concerns that are aggravated by the smoking. So I really, really, really want to help her quit. I want her to quit. Her husband wants her to quit. Her kids want her to quit. And she wants to quit. But she just keeps trying, not quitting. Here's the thing. Whenever I ask, are you ready to quit smoking? She says, I'll try. A simple yes will do. Okay? Because here's the thing. The word try leaves room for failure. Try means I'm going to attempt to do it. Well, here's the thing. Unfortunately, many people don't realize that the language that they're using can have a huge impact on them. So what you're saying is I'm going to try to do this instead of saying I'm going to do it. Now, for those of you who think this is simply a matter of semantics, consider the following. You're standing beside your beloved on your wedding day, and the minister asks your betrothed if they promise to have and to hold, to cherish and honor, to respect and be faithful to your name here, for as long as you both shall live. Your partner responds, I'll try. I mean, how confident would you feel entering into such a union? Probably not very confident, right? Now, of course, people do take these vows every day, and every day those vows are broken, but doesn't it at least sound stronger? Doesn't it seem like the person's more committed if they say, I do or I will, than I'll try? Of course it does. So why not use that same strength and commitment when speaking to yourself or about your intention for change? Because as long as you keep trying, you're leaving that room for failure. Okay? No, I think I get it. I mean, I've said it too. I try not to say it now, unless it's something. I mean, there are certain instances where it fits. Okay? Somebody says, hey, you want to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro this weekend? I might say, I'll try, because I may have some physical limitations that are going to keep me from climbing Mount Kilimanjaro when I haven't climbed that steep of a mountain before, or that tall of a mountain before. But for things like this, I think we say it so that if we fail, we can always say, well, I tried. Here's the thing, people. It's okay to fail. And I know nobody wants to. We hate to fail, right? It's embarrassing. It hurts our self-esteem. It's a setback. And believe me, I have failed many times. And so I'm not saying it's a pleasant thing. But failure is only feedback. That's all it is. And we go through life from the very moment that we're born, learning what works, mostly by first discovering what doesn't work. See, think about this. Perhaps just lying in our crib doesn't get our diaper changed as quickly as crying does. So, we cry. Okay, we learn by failing over and over and over again. You're trying to walk. I mean, I got to say, I can't even imagine that there's any kid ever that was successful their first time trying to walk. But does everyone sit around going, oh, that was terrible. Oh, you're stupid. No, you keep encouraging them, right? They keep encouraging. That's good. Keep trying. Keep trying. You'll get it. And so failure is not, try and let your fear of failure, try and let that go. Because really, there aren't many successful people in the world at just about anything that haven't failed quite a lot. In fact, I think probably the more successful a person is, the more times they've failed, because that means there were more things that they went after. Now, a better term, instead of saying I'll try, might be I'll give it my best. And maybe that softens it a bit. But and remember, there's that Chinese proverb. I think it goes fall down 7 times, get up 8. The numbers might be wrong there. My internet's down, so I can't check it right now. Now, another thing that so that's one of the things I'd like you to think about. Just really committing to yourself, committing to whatever change you're making, or the person that you're involved with, whatever. Think about that. Are you gonna be faithful to me? I'll try. Yeah. Next, the other thing that I'd like you to think about is another phrase that sucks away our power is, and oh my goodness, oh, I just cringe every time I hear it. I can't. Oh my goodness. I mean, how often are you saying I can't when really a more accurate statement is I won't? I do it myself. Believe me. I may say, oh, I can't exercise today because I don't have time. I can't give more money to charity than I already do. I can't give you a ride to the airport because I'm way too busy. Here's the thing, though. More likely, I could exercise, but I'd rather watch the latest episode of Homeland. I could give more to charity if I chose to make cuts in my monthly budget. And I could give you a ride to the airport, but I don't want to because I still haven't watched that episode of Homeland. Now, of course, telling a friend you can't help them out because you'd rather be watching television, well, that's one of those lies that we might feel the need to tell if we are to maintain relationships. But won't you at least be honest with yourself? Don't say you can't exercise. Now, something you might try is I haven't. I haven't yet, because that leaves room for growth. Okay, so if you're wanting to exercise at the end of the week, and you look back at your schedule, or you look at your schedule ahead, actually, is probably a better one, and go, oh, I can't exercise this week. Well, is it that you can't or that you won't? Because everybody has the same amount of time, and I know there's a lot of really, really busy people out there. I also know there's a lot of really, really busy people that make time for exercise. A lot of Olympic athletes, they train like crazy, they have families, and they still work regular jobs. So it can be done. Now, that's just one example. And, as I've talked about before, when I say exercise, most people, their thought is, well, I've got to do 30 or 45 minutes at a time, 5 or 6 days a week, which maybe that's the ideal. I don't know. I mean, the recommendations are constantly shifting. I think that's a great goal, and if you can do it, fantastic. There's a lot of new research, though, that shows, doing maybe high-intensity interval training for as little as 4 minutes can make a change. But really, you don't have to be perfect, right? You can do 2 or 3 minutes here, 2 or 3 minutes there, 5 minutes there. It all adds up. I've tried to stop saying things like, oh, I can't afford that. Because is it really that I can't afford it, or is it that I just haven't allocated the funds? Now, sometimes, yeah, I can't afford my private island yet. But what I might say is I can't afford it right now. I can't do it yet. So that's just something. Now, the other part of this, too, is, as I said, that looking in the mirror thing. Man, I tell you, I've done it myself. I still do it. I say terrible things to myself. I catch myself saying, oh, that was stupid. Wait, no, that wasn't stupid. And you have to have this dialogue, I think, with yourself to say, no, that wasn't stupid. You made an error, and that's okay. So just trying to be a little bit more gentle with ourselves. And that's actually one of the hypnotic suggestions that I'll use with a lot of clients, and is be gentle with yourself. Because I tell you, so many of us are so hard on ourselves. We're just beating the crap out of ourselves, and we just don't need to. We don't need to. You have a lot of good qualities, and so really try and watch that. If you're not happy with the way you look, instead of looking in the mirror and saying, oh, I'm ugly or I'm fat or whatever, think about what you could do to change that, or accepting the way you look. I'm not great at math, but I don't beat myself up over it. Everybody has things that they're good at, things they're bad at. Everybody has just natural, inherent things like, whatever, beauty or whatever. And so please, 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 watch your language, people. Remember that quote by Master Yoda, do or do not. There is no try. And I'm going to wrap it up a little earlier than usual today. And please, you know what are your thoughts? What words are you going to stop saying? I'd love to hear your comments. You can comment over at my website, jimkellnerhypnotist.com. And I think you can also comment on iTunes and probably a lot of places you could comment. But please, also you can call and leave a message, or you can talk to me in person. My number is 209-852-6642. And also you can send me an email, jim@jimkellner.com. So would love to have your feedback. Oh, also, I was going to, let me just throw this out there too. If you happen to be listening to this, I'm trying to improve my website. I'm getting ready to revamp it here pretty soon. And if you get a chance, you want to head over there, take a look at it. If you have any feedback on it, jimkellnerhypnotist.com, on ways that I might make it more appealing, see if it's confusing, if it's easy to use. It's always tough when you're looking at your own work to see how that is. So I'd love to have your feedback. Appreciate it a lot. And so, hey, thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And it's been a blast talking to you. Watch your language and take care. Be well. And, of course, be awesome. I'm Jim Kellner.